Midday, just as it seemed as relations between the United States and Cuba were developing at a welcomed pace, a congressional subcommittee has blocked funding for the opening of a U.S. embassy in Havana. For more on this developing story, we go to our correspondent in Washington, Jorge Gestoso, for the details.
The Appropriations Committee of the House of Representatives approved a bill that will not fund the resources to install the U.S. Embassy in Cuba according to the fiscal budget for 2016. Now the proposal has to go to the full House. If approved, they have to go to the Senate. If the Senate has its own version, it has to go back to the House of Representatives. And if there are still disagreements, they have to work the differences among the two chambers before sending the bill for the signature of the president. The idea goes against what all the polls show, that is the American will, the American people will. 2 out of 3 Americans, according to all of the polls, want the relations with Cuba reestablished. 2 out of 3 Americans want the blockade or embargo lifted. So basically this initiative of congressmen, especially from Miami, Florida, that definitely lobby the U.S. policy against Cuba, are really going against the will of the American public. On the other hand, here in Washington, the U.S. is watching here that the Cuban section of interest that is not far from here is already getting ready to put they hoped very quickly, very soon, their flag, the Cuban flag, because according to all the negotiations between the two delegations of Roberta Jacobson from Washington and the Cuban delegation, Josefina Vidal, it's only a question of days or eventually weeks, so the announcement of the new embassies is going to take place. There's optimism in the case of the Cuban delegation here that the relations are going to be reestablished regardless of all the efforts in the Congress to try to block that initiative of President Obama.